Hey there, softball fans. I'm Sydney Lemmerhurt, and today I'm excited to present an exclusive behind-the-scenes look into the lives of two extraordinary athletes from the Razorbacks softball team. Introducing Carlee Ratcliff and Nia Carter. These two players showcase unmatched skill and passion every time they step onto the field or court. Get ready to be inspired by their stories. But before we dive into their stories, let's take a moment to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Everett Auto Group. They're the driving force behind Buick's See Her Greatness campaign, celebrating the achievements and empowerment of female sports. With locations in Benton, Bryant, and Rogers, the Everett Auto Group is all about supporting women in sports, and we're so grateful to have them on board. Now let's get down to business. As your host for today's interviews and a former Razorback gymnast myself, I understand the dedication and determination it takes to compete at the collegiate level. I'm excited to dive into the experiences and insights of Carlee and Nia, two incredible athletes who embody the Razorback spirit. It's time to hear their stories and discover what makes them true champions. So, hi guys, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Of course. So could you both start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got into softball?
Yeah, so I'm originally from California. I started playing when I was about 9 or 10 years old. It wasn't the first sport that I chose. I used to be a dancer. And then I quit because I saw my brother playing baseball and I wanted to be just like him. Yep. So I started playing softball when I was about that age. And then it really kicked off when I was about 14, my first travel ball team, Corona Angels, that really catapulted me into the whole softball world. So
yeah, awesome. We'll get a little bit into that in a second, so that's awesome.
Mine's really similar to Nia's. I'm from New Boston, Texas, a really, really small town. I played a lot of sports growing up. I played basketball, volleyball, cheer, track, and yeah, I think that's about it. But I also played travel ball, but I played for the Texas Bombers. It's a really big organization, so I think that's really what led me to really getting out there and allowing me to play college softball.
Yeah, so you both have kind of mentioned it, so I'm just going to ask it now. Share a pivotal moment from your youth that you kind of realized, man, I'm pretty good at softball. I think I want to do this in college and continue it on further.
I think for me, PGF is a national tournament for softball. My 14s, we made it to the championship, and that team, we were just really good, and we were the underdogs. And I think that's when I realized I wanted to play, and there's many coaches coming to our games, which was exciting but nerve-wracking. But realizing we had these big-name schools at our games made me realize that I wanted to, play at the D1 level.
Yeah. I would say, like I said, coming from a small town, you kind of realize that you're kind of, I don't want to say better than most people, but that you obviously have a talent, and I would say that I was rising before others, so that's what really made me realize oh, I could probably go somewhere with this.
Yeah. So why did you both pick Arkansas?
So for me, my story's a little different. My undergrad years, I did them at the University of Iowa, and because of COVID, I had the 5th year. And when I entered the portal, Arkansas was one of the first colleges to reach out to me. And I know our coach Courtney Deifel, she's very well known in college softball. So I was just honored that she thought I was good enough to come play in the SEC. So I think really just when I came on my visit and seeing the school and just getting to know Coach Deifel more, that really enticed me to come here.
That's awesome.
I also transferred in. I came from the University of Texas. I played my first 2 years there. I would say that I guess my first 2 years there I didn't really go as planned. So when I actually decided not to play last year, so I'm technically a junior again, but technically a senior. It's kind of weird. But just knowing the program here and realizing, actually, rewind to my sophomore year of college, we played at Arkansas.
Yep.
My super
regionals.
Super regionals.
Supers, yeah.
And then I just realized, dang, this is the atmosphere to be in. It's just amazing here. And just not even being on the inside, just being on the outside looking in, you could definitely tell that Coach Deifel was someone that you want to be around for the rest of your life, and just have that person to look up to. It's just amazing.
Yeah. What do you want young fans, especially young Razorback fans, to kind of remember about you as they're aspiring to be you one day?
I would say for me, I know I've only been here a short amount of time, but I want them to know that I just enjoyed being on the field every single day, and that I was a player who, never gave up and just had fun with what I was doing, because at the end of the day, this isn't forever, and I'm
Yeah.
just blessed to have the opportunity, and I want young kids to know that with hard work they can have the same opportunities.
I would say with my story, just to like never give up. When things get tough, just always like try to find a way, and just always be a leader on and off the field. And like you said, this isn't forever, and just always remember that there's more to life than just your sport.
Yeah.
So just always find the positive in things, I guess.
Yeah, those are both good messages. And you guys have this really big platform now. Being a collegiate athlete in general, you have a platform, but all eyes on female sports right now, obviously with women's basketball that just happened, and then even the growth of softball with the College World Series has become such a big thing. Here at Arkansas, you guys are selling out every week, which is really fun to see. But with that comes some social media talks, whether good or bad. How do you guys think that social media can be used to really be positive and empower your sport?
I think social media can or has helped grow the game immensely ever since having NIL deals as well. I think it's a great opportunity for us to I guess just get fans to get to know us as well.
Yeah.
And I think just being able to be in touch with everyone through social media has helped grow the game a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that it's allowed us to be able to build a brand and create a name for ourselves, and I think that's really good.
Yeah, and it's, people have this expectation of female athletes and what we're supposed to look like and supposed to, be like, and all the just nonsense. So it's definitely interesting to see how social has kind of been a little bit more positive, especially for your guys' sport. But it hasn't always been like that for your sport. Softball wasn't always the most attended. I was here during pre-Deifel years when I think they hadn't won an SEC game in like 2 years or something. So what advice would you have for a female athlete that might be discouraged by, lack of attendance or lack of visibility to their sport?
I would just say trust the process. I think our sport is it's ever growing, and it's going to continue to grow even after we no longer play. And I think just trusting your process and trusting yourself too. I try not to worry too much about the outside because I know that can get to me specifically. So I think those who are discouraged about, maybe not as much, like viewership or as much as we get as other like men's sports, but just know that the game is still growing and just
be patient.
Be patient for sure.
I want to hit like what you said about like years before. Like obviously softball hasn't like been this huge like sport that everyone watches, but here in the past few years, especially when we went to the World Series, just having that experience of how many people actually tuned in, even like in person and like on TV, it was just actually insane to realize how much the sport has grown. So like I would just say like just live it day by day. Like it is growing. You just have to give it time and like you said, trust the process.
Fun questions now. So can you guys share a moment from your career where it's something that you're just going to remember for the rest of your life, whether it was a personal goal that you met or maybe as a team? Share a little bit about that.
Very first collegiate at bat in college, I hit a walk-off single, and
gosh,
I was a freshman, and they had just threw me out there like, okay, fine, nobody else can do it, so we'll give you a shot. And I actually did it, and I think that moment made me realize that like I belong. Yeah. And that moment has always stuck with me.
My freshman year, I actually made SportsCenter, and I think it was number 4, I think. But just like rewatching it and seeing it, like everyone texted me like, "Oh my God, you're literally on TV!" Like literally making huge plays. It was just amazing to like as a freshman to see. Oh my gosh, like we belong here. Like you're here for a reason, basically.
So, do either one of you have any sort of pre-game routine or ritual, or are you superstitious? Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when I get dressed, I've switched it up because I wasn't hitting as well, but I used to put my left sock on first, but now I put my right sock on first.
There you go.
And it's been better. And I listen to the same song usually. I don't really listen to like hype up music. It'll be like a sad song.
No, I'm very straightforward. Like I really just show up and I'm just me, I guess, but I literally don't have anything. I guess when I go up to bat, or I guess everyone like has their like focus point, but like I'll stare at my bat and just like take a deep breath. That's about all I have.
Yeah, well, you kind of answered my next question. Is like, if you didn't have a superstition, is there anything you might say to yourself, you know, after maybe you struck out, or maybe you're down in the count, or anything like that? Do you have anything you like say to yourself?
I just try to remind myself that like life goes on. Like you're gonna live. It's okay. Like it's fine. Like I understand. Like in the moment, just breathe and like try to think of something happy and like just try to move on positively. Yeah.
That's good. Good advice to have. Who was your first female athlete that you remember looking up to, whether it was a softball player or not? Talk a little bit about her and kind of why you looked up to her.
For me, I would say I had a couple. Lauren Chamberlain, which is funny because we were completely different players, but I looked up to her because she was just so good, and like she really was always like there in those clutch moments. But like people in my position, I would say Michelle Moultrie, she played at Florida, and Kelsey Stewart, who also played at Florida. Those two, just seeing other female black athletes like myself really just showed that I could be there as well. And I just remember wanting to be just like them and, you know, play at Florida or play wherever, just go D1. So I think just being able to see people like me playing the sport as well, I think that is what made me realize like I want to do it too for other young girls.
Yeah, and that's really important, and I think we're seeing that across all sports, you know, Simone Biles and stuff. Like people have talked about like, oh my gosh, there's a girl that looks like me, and I love those stories. Those are the coolest ones to me.
I would say I looked up to Carlee Clifton. She's a second baseman at OU. Fun fact, I actually picked my number after her.
That's awesome.
She was number 20, so I picked it in travel ball and then at Texas, but then Hannah Gamble was number 20, so I had to pick a new number. But she was just very gritty, and I feel like I could match myself to that. Like I always, like I go all out no matter what. I literally try to do my hair like her. You know how it goes. Like, you look up to somebody and you're just like, I want to be just like them. So she was a really good role model.
That's awesome. I love the number story too. That's always fun. I always, especially in a sport, like I didn't have a number in my sport, so I'm always wondering like why people pick certain numbers. So that's fun. Last question, my personal favorite question. We've talked about it a little bit, but you both bring a unique perspective because you're transfers. So I'm sure you might have received a little bit more hate than the most players do. How would you address any haters that you or your sport might have, and how would you, you know, kind of advocate for greater respect and recognition for your sport?
I don't really like confrontation, so like, I wouldn't personally like go out of my way to give them any kind of attention. I would just like let it go. Like I said, I was straightforward. So like I literally just don't let it get to me. Like they're gonna say whatever they want to say, but like at the end of the day, like it doesn't even matter. Like if you fuel the fire, like, it's just gonna keep it. But if you just like put it out, it's just gonna stop right there. So I think that's the best way to go about it.
I love that.
Yeah, I would also say I don't typically address like the criticism or the haters because they don't know what it's like to be in my shoes. There's a reason I'm here and they're hating from over there. But I just don't let it get to me because I'm very fortunate to be here. When you have haters, then I think maybe that you just have something that they don't have.
Well, thank y'all. This was awesome. It was so nice to meet both of you. Of course. That is a wrap for today's episode. I want to extend a massive thank you to the phenomenal female athletes who joined us today. Your stories are the heart and soul of our podcast, and your greatness truly shines through in every word. I also want to express my gratitude to the Everett Auto Group for continuing to promote the See Her Greatness campaign. With locations in Benton, Bryant, and Rogers, they're not just in the business of selling cars, they're champions of celebrating female excellence in sports. To my listeners, I can't thank you enough for tuning in and being a part of this empowering journey. Remember, you can catch up on all of the episodes and stay connected with the latest from Everett's See Her Greatness campaign by following us on social media. Until next time, keep believing in your greatness, keep striving for your dreams, and keep celebrating the incredible achievement of women in sports. This is Sydney Lemmerhurt signing off.